Well, we'll continue with our focus on the disaster at Implats. We're hoping shortly to bring in AMCU Deputy President Phuthuma Manyathi, but we have on the line with us and on our Zoom call, Junior Mining Council founding President Fred Arendse. Fred, good evening to you. Sincere condolences to yourselves, the families of those killed, others injured tonight. I'd like to give you a moment to reflect on this loss with us.
Good afternoon. It's indeed a sad day, for the mining industry, and particularly Impala, the management, the unions, the families that have lost 11 colleagues. It is never easy to reflect on that, on any loss of life. And since this morning, we were grappling, to get to terms of, and we can only imagine what the families is going through. And our heart and our minds go out to the families, and especially those, the colleagues that who will be mourning this for a very, very long time. It is indeed a very, very sad day for our industry.
Fred, we know mining is an inherently dangerous occupation, but things had been looking up in the platinum sector where safety had improved. We had record lows in 2022. How much of a setback is something like this?
It's a major setback, especially given the significant progress that has been made since 2019, and in particular last year, and even the beginning of this year, January. In the history of our sector, we had absolutely no fatalities for a whole month, and with the unfortunate, death of the 11 colleagues, it brought this year's fatality to 52. Which is a little bit up of last year, 49. So it is still better, so to speak, if you compare 2021. But as we said many times, one is too many. So as we sit today with the 11, colleagues that has lost their lives, the fatalities statistic is sitting as today about 52 people that have left, us. And it's very, very sad for all of us. But we cannot compare how we feel and how the families, feel about losing their loved ones.
Well, let's bring in Phuthuma Manyathi, who is AMCU's Deputy President. I understand he's able to join us now. Phuthuma, are you there? Phuthuma, can you hear me? Are you there? Okay, I think we're still struggling to get hold of him.
Yes,
Fred,
I am.
Hear about it. Phuthuma is there. Phuthuma, confirm you can hear me?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. I want to convey our sincere condolences on the loss on the loss of your colleagues, and of course the emotional distress that the families of those deceased and of those who are injured and in hospital tonight. And I would love to give you the opportunity I gave Fred just to reflect on what this loss means for you. Okay. I will take that Phuthuma can't hear me. Fred, I want to come back to you. When we talk about incidents like these, we say it in sentences, but I would love for you to really paint a picture for us, the nature of this accident. How big is the conveyance cage? How does it work?
I need to be very careful because, as you know, this is currently under investigation. And I want to be very cautious in expressing, my own views in what transpired. But just to answer one part of your question, I'm not sure whether ever been underground, but we're talking about a big cage, that take about, anything between, 75 to 80 people. So it's much bigger, a much bigger lift, if I can put it like that you will see in a typical hotel. So it's quite a big cage. So what I want to be very careful of expressing, while there's a pending investigation, as exactly what has happened. The CEO has made a very comprehensive media briefing this afternoon, And I would rather want to leave it as what he has put out at this point in time.
Well, Fred, it was more to understand just the mechanics of it in general terms, not specifically related to the incident. We know it's at a very sensitive stage and there are investigations that are underway. I just wanted to share with our viewers, just placing them in that world of what that experience is like. I think what you've shared with us is quite enough. How much does this impact the sector or influence how safety can be improved? And I'm thinking, you mentioned Nico Muller, what he said just a short time ago. There was a very aggressive investment strategy to protect equipment on that mine, and I imagine mines across the country, occupational health and safety is key. But when something like this happens, what happens to the industry, and what are its implications for making sure incidents like this don't happen?
I think in addition to the ongoing efforts of all the mines in the sector, you know, particularly when it comes to this type of maintenance, you know, you can imagine, you know, all the mines is almost on high alert, and I can almost give you a letter, you know, that they will be double checking, you know, their maintenance schedules and making sure that they double up on whatever initiative they, you know, has been implemented. But I must say that the mining sector, you know, they've done enormous amount of effort, spend a lot of money, a lot of resources, making sure that the mine operations are safe. You've mentioned in your introduction that mining by nature is a very, very difficult and very dangerous, you know, industry. But I can say with comfort that most, you know, of the mining, you know, businesses, you know, taking safety very, very seriously, and I have got no doubt that Impala, you know, I'm fortunate to know the operations quite well. I'm coming out of an Anglo Platinum environment, and I can say with confidence, you know, that you know the conviction, the effort, the resources, the money that's invested, but I can assure you, you know, even more so now of what has happened at Impala, that all the other mines, you know, have probably spent the whole day, you know, making sure that they haven't missed anything when it comes to, you know, already planned schedules. Because, I mean, this is a big accident, 11 people at once. And we hope and pray, you know, that the colleagues, there's got colleagues that's in critical condition in hospital. We really hope and pray, you know, that they will pull through and we will not have more fatalities.
Fred, thank you very much. I understand that Phuthuma is back, and hopefully we can get his thoughts as the majority union at the operation. Phuthuma, good evening to you. And I do again, if you can hear me, want to convey our condolences to you and to your colleagues and give you the opportunity to reflect on what today has meant for you.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your listeners and viewers at home as well.
Did you get the question, Phuthuma? I just wanted to give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with the families of those who have survived and those who have lost their loved ones tonight.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I think this is the first time in my life where something like this happened, except the Marikana massacre. For quite some time, nothing like this of this magnitude has ever happened. So we're really still trying hard to process this. It's still something that still makes us think in our head and our heart and soul and mind. But we are really with the families that have lost their loved ones, their breadwinners, and again with the families who have their loved ones in hospitals. It really is tough. And now it's festive season, everyone is expecting the breadwinner back home, and this thing happened.
Have you been able to visit any of those who survived?
We have sent a team of our branch leadership to visit those families, where some of them are in the Eastern Cape, the majority of them, 3 are in Lesotho. They've got one in Rustenburg and one in Canton. And if you look at those details, it's quite a little bit far, so they are that side. And they will get a full report once they arrive at that site and brief the family and then brief us as well. Then we can make the way forward from there.
Phuthuma, our line is not the best, and understandably you're on the move, and there's a lot happening in your space tonight. But Implats has said this is the darkest day in its recent history. You're AMCU, you're the majority union at the operations. We heard from the DMRE and from mining bosses that the investigation, of course, is underway, and there's been a lot of focus on this area in the past in terms of investment into safety. So I just wanted to ask if it at all, this kind of issue was an issue for you as a union, the issue of safety and the integrity of equipment at the plant before.
Yes, we have always been calling for the review of the Mine Health and Safety Act. Because if you look at that, everything stems from that. And there's been a clear call from AMCU, particularly from the AMCU president, from the chair of Matreja. And because what we have found out is that as long as the Mine Health and Safety Act stands, there is no way that the health and safety can improve in the mining sector. There is something that is wrong with the mine health and safety because...
Can you speak up a little bit more, Phuthuma? Sorry, in a stronger voice. It's very important what you're saying. And I know if I'm battling to hear, then our viewers are going to be battling to hear as well. Just please rephrase and recap what you've said now.
Yes, what I'm saying is that we have been making a clear call at AMCU to say, let's review the Mine Health and Safety Act. Because that is where the problem is. You cannot have an act that is not working. But as it stands now, the Act does not help us as workers. Instead, we are dying in numbers every day. And no, but for instance, this year alone we've got 41 fatalities. Then at the 11 of today, we will then have 52. But tell me, who has been prosecuted from any of the mining houses? Nobody. And there's only one simple reason, that the Act, it's so weak that it allows the mining houses, the mining bosses to do as they wish. And nobody is listening to our call as the people affected by this act to say, please, let's review the Mine Health and Safety Act, make it work for the benefit of workers, let it work for the benefit of the industry.
Yeah, that's a very important point you raised, Phuthuma, and I want to put it on in my left hand and then in the right hand to go back to the question I asked. Let's then come to specifics. At this particular operation, had your workers work across the operation? Have any of your managers, your mine managers, have any of your colleagues and union members who work in this particular area of the plant raised any red flags about safety?
There has been a number of, particularly this instance did not start yesterday. It started last week Thursday to be correct. And then they raised the issue of this machine not working properly. And then the team that is doing maintenance were called in. And they've been working on it on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Strangely, I don't understand why they would have to test it when there are people inside. It defies the logic. What we're expecting them to do is that they will test whether this thing is working or not working by putting like the heavy equipment inside it, all the machinery that needs to go underground. Because this issue was raised already. But for some strange reason, I don't know who gave the go-ahead to say, fine, we can now put people and start operating as normal. Yet you have been working on this machine and failing to get it right from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Because if they were getting it right, that could have been done on Thursday already.
So just to be 100% clear, and I must let you go after this question, Phuthuma, your team, your colleagues had advised that this particular piece of machinery, for want of a better term, should not have been engaged, should not have been operational, should not have been used. Am I correct in understanding that?
That is correct. Even the report from management, they said it started to have a problem as early as Thursday. Now, what I'm saying is that the actual fatal happened on a Monday. You tell me if they were servicing it on Thursday, on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, couldn't they have seen that something is not normal on this machine? Why it takes so long to service it?
All right. We will definitely come back to this one. Thank you very much, Phuthuma Manyathi. And again tonight, condolences to your teams across the operation and to your colleagues in the industry. AMCU Deputy President Phuthuma Manyathi and Junior Mining Council Founding President Fred Arendse. And of course, condolences to the families tonight.